There are three professions in the world named refining, firstly, the alchemist secondly, the alchemist thirdly. The alchemist spiritual alchemists are like those who act on behalf of heaven and earth, plundering the essence of heaven and earth to strengthen blessings. Whether it is elixirs or objects, they can refine spirits. Keywords of the novel. The heavens starting from the refining of strange fire. No pop-ups, the heavens starting from the refining of strange fire. Download the complete text, the heavens starting from the refining of strange fire. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Xiao by, Bronze Cauldron Alchemy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Xiao by, Bronze Cauldron Alchemy, Doji Qi, 3 sections. On the empty high platform, the little boy calmly withdrew his hand from the magic testing stone. The young man looked about 5 or 6 years old, with black hair and black eyes, a straight body, a pair of big eyes, and a bunch of stubbornly upturned hair on his head. Hiss. Xiao by, Doji Qi, 3rd section, level, low. A middle-aged man beside the demon testing stone glanced at the information on the stone tablet, couldn't help but take a cold breath, and announced in shock. At the same time, this achievement also shocked many children of the Xiao family. Doji Qi Sanduan, my goodness, I didn't hear it wrong, did I? Yeah, you heard me right. Our Xiao family has produced another genius. Xiao Bai is only 5 years old. He started practicing at the age of 4 and in just 1 year, he reached 3 levels of Do Qi. If it continued, wouldn't it be possible for him to enter the Do realm at the age of 10? He is truly a terrifying talent, not inferior to young Master Xiao Yan. The heavens have eyes, really the heavens have eyes. Our Xiao family is really blessed. I thought Xiao Yan's talent was invincible in the world, but I didn't expect anyone to be inferior to him. Who is this elder's child? He has such a good education. Listening to the praises and pleasantries around him, Xiao Bai walked down without changing his expression, very calm and seemingly unaffected by outsiders. After Xiao Bai left, someone said, "Young Master Xiao Bai, is your temperament a bit cold?" What do you know? Young Master Xiao Bai is an orphan, and both of his parents have sacrificed for his family. He has been living alone until his talent is revealed, so his nature is naturally cold. Young Master Xiao Bai is so pitiful. I have a daughter, why not get engaged to him? This may help alleviate his loneliness. Pooh, are you doing that for young Master Xiao Bai? I'm too embarrassed to point you out, you're despicable. The emergence of genius always brings about the treatment of the stars and the moon. Unfortunately, Xiao Bai doesn't care much. After all, he is not a real child. After leaving the square, Xiao Bai arrived at the back mountain of the Xiao family. Here, he has his own secret base, a treehouse on a large tree. Climbing into the treehouse, Xiao Bai closed his eyes and looked inside at what was in his mind. He is both a walkthrough and an open walkthrough. In Xiao Bai's mind, there was actually a bronze cauldron with 3 legs and 2 ears. On the walls of the cauldron, there seemed to be some mysterious patterns engraved, which look like ancient texts or runes, densely packed and countless. This is Xiao Bai's cheat. A treasure that can be used for spiritual cultivation. At first, Xiao Bai didn't know what the bronze cauldron was for. By chance, he discovered the method of using a bronze cauldron to cook soup. Xiao Bai referred to this method of use as spiritual refining. Xiao Bai was able to cultivate to the 3rd level of Do Qi in a year, thanks to this precious cheat. Subsequently, Xiao Bai's thoughts moved, and the bronze cauldron disappeared from his mind and appeared in the real world, quietly suspended in front of Xiao Bai. Immediately after, Xiao Bai took out a bag of rice from the cabinet in the treehouse. He took out a grain of rice from the rice bag and threw it into the bronze cauldron. Then Xiao Bai took out a small fireplace from the treehouse, lit it with charcoal, raised clusters of flames, and directly placed the bronze cauldron on the small fireplace to bake. Buzz! In less than 3 breaths, an inscription on the bronze cauldron lit up slightly. The silver halo is concentrated on the inscription, rendering the inscription that resembles text or runes into a very brilliant silver white, which looks very beautiful. Moreover, with the illumination of the inscription, a silver white halo appeared inside the bronze cauldron, initially weak and dim, but gradually becoming stronger and brighter. Subsequently, Xiao Bai closed his eyes and meditated directly next to the bronze cauldron. In his perception, the energy from the surrounding heaven and earth was rapidly gathering and pouring into the bronze cauldron, causing the silver white halo inside the cauldron to become brighter and brighter, like a constantly increasing light bulb, only silver white. In this process, the energy of heaven and earth was like being fully controlled by a bronze cauldron. Even if Xiao Bai practiced the qi of Do, there would not be any trace of heaven and earth energy entering his body. As time passed, the silver-white halo inside the bronze cauldron became increasingly vigorous. The inscription on the bronze cauldron also continued to emit light, as if it contained some kind of law of heaven and earth, which could forcibly plunder the power of heaven and earth. About a quarter of an hour had passed, and the inscriptions on the bronze cauldron dimmed, and the silver-white halo inside the cauldron gradually disappeared. Looking at the grain of rice inside the bronze cauldron, it had already swollen and turned into a white rice as big as a thumb. Overall, it looked crystal clear, like it was carved from white jade, with a silver inscription inside. Gradually, it faded into a dark silver mark engraved inside the rice. Only rice, among all the edible materials I can find, can be used for spiritual refinement. I don't know if alchemists' pills and Warcraft's magic energy can be used for spiritual refinement. There are also heavenly and earthly treasures that surpass the quality of ingredients. Xiao Bai murmured to himself while taking out the refined rice. After his reincarnation, he developed the correct usage method for the bronze cauldron within a few years and conducted many experiments. However, Xiao Bai was too young to come into contact with many things. He never had a chance to come into contact with any pills, magic cores, or heavenly and earthly treasures. So, there are not many edible materials that Xiao Bai has discovered that can withstand spiritual cultivation, only rice, and other ingredients cannot bear it at all. In addition to edible materials, bronze cauldrons can also be used to refine spirits with other inedible materials, such as wood, stone, and metal. On the table of Xiao Bai's treehouse, there is a wooden sword. That was a toy made for Xiao Bai by his father while he was alive. However, the wooden sword that has undergone a spiritual refinement is no longer a toy. At least, a wooden sword that cuts iron like mud can't be considered a toy. Can any child play with this kind of toy? Grunt. Subsequently, Xiao Bai put the thumb-sized rice into his mouth and swallowed it raw. If this thing is cooked, the energy of heaven and earth inside will overflow. Even if he ate it in time after cooking, Xiao Bai, who only had 3 levels of cultivation in Do Qi, could not withstand the impact of such a large amount of heaven and earth energy. So, after Xiao Bai conducted experiments with some little white rabbits, he found out that the best way is to eat the rice raw without cooking it. Perhaps it is because the speed of digestion of raw rice is very slow, so the overflow of energy from heaven and earth is relatively small, even Xiao Bai can withstand it. After eating the rice for spiritual cultivation once, Xiao Bai immediately felt a surge of heat flowing out of his body. He quickly sat cross-legged to cultivate the qi of the dough, starting to refine and absorb the scattered energy from heaven and earth. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Refining Rice, Yellow Terrace Fighting Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Refining Rice, Yellow Terrace Fighting Technique. In the treehouse, Xiao Bai sat cross-legged, with his chest heaving and heaving, causing thick white mist to continuously spray from his mouth and nose. That's not fog, it's the fighting spirit condensed from the energy of heaven and earth. However, Xiao Bai cannot fully absorb it, so he loses some energy every time he swallows. However, even so, the energy of the dense fog flowed through Xiao Bai's body, moving along his limbs and bones, wandering through his meridians, and finally transforming into strands of fighting qi, converging in the sea of qi. Young people cannot persist in meditation for too long. Xiao Bai couldn't hold on after only practicing for about an hour. His body is stiff and sore, and there is also an uncomfortable feeling in his meridians. However, the cultivation effect is very good, and Xiao Bai can clearly feel the progress of his cultivation. So, Xiao Bai stopped, got up and moved his hands and feet to liven up his stiff body. Then he left the treehouse and began running in circles in the forest behind the mountain. The forest behind the mountain is large enough for just 5-year-old Xiao Bai to struggle. And while he was running, he was constantly swallowing white mist between his mouth and nose, looking like an old smoker breathing in the clouds. At present, Xiao Bai has not practiced any martial arts or combat techniques. His usual cultivation methods are meditation to cultivate fighting spirit and running to exercise his body. Xiao Bai ran for over an hour before coming to a stop covered in a strong man. Perhaps due to the cultivation of spiritual rice, Xiao Bai did not feel much tired and exhausted. At this moment, he was still swallowing white mist with his breath between his mouth and nose, and the pores all over his body were also rising with white mist, as if the energy of the world of refined rice had been excreted along with sweat. In no time, Xiao Bai arrived at a hot spring on the back mountain. He stripped himself naked and jumped into the hot spring with a thud, smoking. Suddenly, a large white mist spread out in the hot spring, blending with the steam, seemingly indistinguishable from each other. I need to practice as soon as possible to become a fighter, so that I can obtain various resources and a better fire. Xiao Bai leaned against the stones of the hot spring, while his mind was arranging his future. He tried many methods, only flames can activate the bronze cauldron. Moreover, ordinary flames can only allow the bronze cauldron to exert a spiritual refining effect once. There are so many inscriptions on the bronze cauldron, and only one inscription is lit each time. Xiao Bai speculates that the reason for the flames is that he needs more and better flames, and the spiritual refining effect should be gradually improved. My bronze cauldron is like Bai Xiaochun's turtle shell pot, 100% successful in spiritual cultivation, and also requires flames to activate the spiritual cultivation function. Xiao Bai touched his chin. He was thinking that the beast fire and strange fire of Duki continent should be usable. The more types of flames, the better the quality, and the more spiritual refining effects and times they should be. Specifically, he needs to figure it out through experiments. About an hour later, Xiao Bai's alchemy rice in his stomach was completely digested, and he finally stopped puffing and puffing. A grain of refined rice takes about 3 hours to digest. After all, it is raw rice. If it is cooked, it will be different. Moreover, Xiao Bai is currently only a practitioner in the Do Qi stage, and there is no formal Do Qi technique that can refine the energy in his body. Otherwise, the digestion speed and efficiency of the refined rice will naturally differ. Just like that, time passes by. Xiao Bai spent the whole day practicing in a simple and easy way in the back mountain. Basically, he never participates in fun games between peers. Occasionally, when I went back to Xiao Gai's room and encountered invitations from peers such as Xiao Yan and Xiao Ning, he waved his hand and refused, which was very unsociable. On the contrary, Xiao Yan seemed to enjoy the support of the stars and moon from the people around him, becoming the king of children. One day, Xiao Bai came to the cafeteria of the kitchen and heard some important information while dining. The children at the next table chattered out. Hey, have you all heard about it? Today, our family has a group of distinguished guests. Of course I heard about it, but it was personally received by the clan leader and elders, probably a master. The clan leader is already a master of martial arts, and the person who can be personally received by the clan leader must also be a master of martial arts. I just don't know who the master of martial arts is among those people. If only I could be accepted as an apprentice. You're thinking nonsense. There are no strong players at the level of the great Do master in the entire Yuden city. Just because you want to be taken in by the great Do master, dream it, little brother, isn't it, little brother? Brother, you're going too far. I'm your own younger brother. How could you mock me in front of everyone? Are you still my own brother? If you keep doing this, I won't be with you anymore. Hehe, your news is too outdated. I just secretly went to the hall to check, and there was also a little girl in that group who was about the same age as us. Oh, that one looks like a water spirit. Shit, girls are so troublesome. We still have to let them play, let's not take her to play. Xiao Bai listened to the children at the next table and continued to cook expressionlessly. At this time, the children of the Xiao family are still young. At the age of 5 or 6, they are still in the stage of hermaphroditism and have no feelings for girls. Of course, it will be different in the future. Just think about how many licking dogs Xiao Suner and Xiao may have in the original time and space. Perhaps the ancient tribe has arrived. Xiao Bai thought this way and then continued to work. What happened to the ancient tribe has nothing to do with him. He doesn't plan to cut off Husuner, women can only hinder his speed of becoming stronger, let alone young girls who are too cruel and have already broken through the moral bottom line. Let's go to the clan leader's place later and see if we can test our talent attributes. Xiao Bai wants to test his attributes. If there is a talent for alchemists, that would be great. After all, although he has cheats, he is equivalent to an alchemist. But the profession of alchemist is not available in the Duki continent, and once it is revealed, it is likely to face various crises. By contrast, if he could become an alchemist, perhaps he could make some moves. For example, refining one's own elixir for spiritual enhancement. The sudden increase in drug efficacy can be said to be some kind of refining technique or secret method. At that time, he will just be a great master of alchemy, not an emerging profession of spiritual alchemist. He should be much safer, with the support of the Alchemist Association. Joining Danta in the future will be more fragrant. After finishing his meal, Xiao Bai did not directly go to find the clan chief. Because at this point in time, the people of the ancient tribe probably haven't left yet. So, Xiao Bai headed straight to the Duji Hall, preparing to pick a few low-level Huangjie Duji books to practice. Entering the Duji Hall, Xiao Bai carefully selected 3 Duji books. Huangjie low-level fighting technique, Stone Fist Huangjie low-level fighting skill, Tombstone Opener yellow level low-level fighting skill, Bone Splitting Claw, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. 2 years later, Yun Lanzong's letter. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 3. 2 years later, Yun Lanzong's letter. Time flies like water, and in the blink of an eye, 2 years have passed. With the effect of refining spirit rice, Xiao Bai has already cultivated to the 7th level of Do Qi. This is also because his body and cultivation cannot absorb all the energy of the refined rice. Most of the energy has evaporated, otherwise it wouldn't be as simple as the 7th stage of Do Qi. Do practitioners are probably just laying the foundation. And this year, he is only 7 years old. This achievement directly shocked the entire Xiao family. Even in the empire, the name of Xiao Bai's genius has been passed down. I started practicing at the age of 4, and after 3 years of cultivation, I reached the 7th level of Doji Qi. Isn't this a genius? By contrast, Xiao Yan has only recently reached the 4th stage of Do Qi cultivation, which is a big gap. For a moment, Xiao Bai became a hot topic in the Xiao family. The clan chief and elders were even more eager to win over Xiao Bai. At the same time, Xiao Yan seemed to have been stimulated and began to seriously cultivate in order to catch up with Xiao Bai and regain his title as the first genius. Although it was the support of the stars and the moon, Xiao Bai did not lose himself. He is well aware that only by maintaining himself can he be constantly praised by the stars. Moreover, he doesn't like to be praised in the middle. More often than not, Xiao Bai prefers to be low-key, quiet, and free. Xiao family, Xiao Bai's detached courtyard. Since becoming the first genius of the Xiao family, he has moved here from the House Han Tree House. Perhaps this is the treatment of a genius. The detached courtyard, maids, and butlers are all equipped, and the monthly allowance has increased several times. And the clan chief and elders have also sent gifts to Xiao Bai multiple times. Xiao Bai can understand their ideas. After all, he has no father or mother in the Xiao family and no direct relatives. What if the wings become hard and fly away in the future? The Xiao family has finally produced such a demonic genius, and it must be tightened. Meanwhile, over the course of 2 years, Xiao Bai also tested his talent attributes. With a fire attribute constitution and a hint of wood attribute qi, it is truly a talent for alchemists. In the room, Xiao Bai swallowed the clouds and exhaled mist. The fighting energy in his body is constantly running, refining the surging energy of heaven and earth in his body. However, even so, the vast majority of the heaven and earth energy inside the refined rice still evaporated, with only a small portion being digested by Xiao Bai. In fact, his talent is not good, far inferior to Xiao Yan. If it weren't for cheats, his cultivation speed would be at most that of an ordinary person. Perhaps at the time of the coming-of-age ceremony, one may not even be able to achieve the cultivation level of the 7 Dan Do Qi. After 3 years of cultivation, the Qi of 7 Dan Do is actually the result of stacking resources. More than an hour had passed before Xiao Bai stopped practicing. Doji Qi, 8 sections. Xiao Bai opened his eyes and his spirit improved by a certain amount. A surge of fighting energy emanated from his body. He broke through again, reaching the 8th level of Doji Qi, and currently only 2 steps away from the Do player. However, he dare not go out because he is still breathing heavily. If someone finds out, it's still okay. So, Xiao Bai decided to exercise in the room. He took out the previous fitness routine. Squat up, jump rope, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and so on. Anyway, there is a lot of heaven and earth energy supporting his body, and he is not afraid of hurting himself through practice. This has also led to a rapid enhancement and development of his physical fitness over the past 3 years, and he has already taken on a somewhat muscular aesthetic. So, half the morning was spent by Xiao Bai practicing, until he completely digested the rice for spiritual cultivation and returned to normal before going out. Xiao Bai had just taken a shower when the butler arrived and respectfully said, "Young Master Xiao Bai, the clan leader, please. This is the treatment of a genius. If it's an ordinary child, the clan leader and elders will call at once. Who dares not obey? But when it comes to Xiao Bai, the clan leader and elders use the word please, without any disrespect or aggressive attitude. What's the matter with the clan chief looking for me?" Xiao Bai wiped his body clean with a towel and asked as he changed his clothes. "I don't know about this old slave, maybe it's about cultivation. You'll know when you go." The butler shook his head and said, "He is just a butler and a servant of the Xiao family. How could the clan leader talk to him?" The hall of the Xiao family is not far from Xiao Bai's small courtyard. In no time, Xiao Bai arrived at the hall of the Xiao family. The hall is spacious, but there aren't many people, only 4 people. The clan leader Xiao Zhan sitting at the top, and the 3 elders of the Xiao family on the left. At this moment, the clan leader and the 3 elders seem to be facing each other head-on, with an unusually solemn atmosphere. But when they saw Xiao Bai come in, their faces immediately showed a chrysanthemum blooming smile, very amiable, and the atmosphere in the hall suddenly became warm. This left the 2 guards at the entrance of the hall looking bewildered. "It's outrageous." Just in the hall, Xiao Bai quickly stepped forward and saluted, saying, "I have seen the clan leader, I have seen 3 elders. Hey, good kid, don't be too polite. Come over and sit down and talk." Clan leader Xiao Zhan saw the situation and was about to take the conversation when the eldest elder grabbed in front of him. With a smile, he waved at Xiao Bai and kindly called him to the seat next to him. He looked like his grandfather was hurting his grandson, and he almost vomited at him. This old fox. Xiao Zhan was very unhappy. He was the clan leader, but he was snatched by the elder. It was really shameful, making him want to hit someone. In fact, Xiao Zhan also understood that these three old guys were just trying to win over Xiao Bai. After all, Xiao Bai's talent is really too demonic. At the age of 7, there is no second one in the 100-year history of the Xiao family. Such a genius, who may become a strong fighter for the emperor in the future, is the hope star of the Xiao family, and naturally highly valued by the high-level officials of the Xiao family. Later, Xiao Bai asked his own question and said, "Clan leader, 3 elders, I wonder why Xiao Bai came here." Upon hearing this, Xiao Zhan glanced at the elder and then said, "Yunlan sect has received a letter inviting you to join their practice. Xiao Bai, you also know that our Xiao family is not a big family. Compared to Yunlan sect, it is naturally far behind. If you can join Yunlan sect for cultivation, both resources and teachings will far exceed what the Xiao family can give you." The meaning is already very clear. The Xiao family wants Xiao Bai to join the Yunlan sect. In their view, with Xiao Bai's talent, he could definitely be favored by the influential figures of Yunlan sect and thus accepted as a disciple. At that time, the Xiao family will have Yun Lanzong as their support. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Breakthrough 9 sections, Protecting Meridian Pill and Nourishing Qi Powder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Breakthrough 9 sections, Protecting Meridian Pill and Nourishing Qi Powder. What? Go to Yunlan sect. Don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go, say nothing. Without any hesitation, Xiao Bai said directly to the clan leader Xiao Zhan and the 3 elders, "I want to go to Canaan Academy." If his surname is not Xiao, Yun Lanzong will designate him to go. Isn't Yun fragrant? Unfortunately, Yun Lanzong has a soul palace protector. If he goes, it's not like meat buns beating dogs. This is not suitable for giving away heads. Why? Although Yunlan sect is not as powerful as Canaan Academy, it is also a powerful force and still within the empire's borders. If anything happens, the family can also provide you with some help in a timely manner. Clan leader Xiao Zhan said. In fact, he has ulterior motives. If Xiao Bai joins the Yunlan sect, it would be very beneficial for the Xiao family. At least it can provide some protection for the Xiao family. After all, Yunlan sect has powerful opponents who fight against the emperor. In the land of the Gama Empire, the title of the powerful emperor is too intimidating. Even the hegemons of first-tier cities, those who are strong in fighting spirit, will think twice before taking action and dare not do anything to the Xiao family, which is very deterrent. With Xiao Bai's talent, there is a high chance that he can join the sect of the Cloud Lawn sect leader. At the worst, one can find an elder at the level of Dowang as a master. Canaan College is stronger, and I heard that it gathers talents from all over the world. In that environment, the progress speed is definitely faster than Yunlan sect. Xiao Bai insisted on his own ideas. Yunlan sect. Dogs don't even go. Ah, this. Okay, then it's up to you. I'll reply to Yun Lanzong with a letter explaining it clearly. Clan leader Xiao Zhan sighed and could only follow Xiao Bai's thoughts. If it were other members of the tribe, Xiao Zhan said, who dares not listen. But Xiao Bai is different. This child's talent is too demonic. Is it difficult for the other party to force them if they are unwilling to go? In that case, wouldn't it be pushing others out? Only fools would do such a thing. When are you planning to take the admission exam for Canaan College? The elder asked. Don't worry, wait for me to become a fighter, it will probably be in the past 2 years, Xiao Bai said. Hush. Suddenly, there were waves of gasping sounds coming from the hall. Leaving the hall, Xiao Bai held the token given by the elder and found the family's fighting technician. Huang Jie's low-level fighting skills allow him to explore and cultivate on his own. However, when it comes to intermediate-level combat skills or above in the yellow rank, it is necessary for the family's combat technicians to assist in teaching. Moreover, Cultivating combat skills at or above the intermediate level of the yellow rank also requires a lot of Do Qi. 7 Dan Do Qi is the foundation, and Xiao Bai has reached the standard. So after he made the request, the elder didn't hesitate to give him the token, allowing him to learn as he pleased, and the family's fighting technicians could use it any way they wanted. So, Xiao Bai came to the martial arts hall and selected several intermediate yellow-level martial arts. Fist and claw fighting techniques like Big Stone Fist, Big Opening Monument Hand, and Big Splitting Bone Claw. At the same time, he also took a scroll of advanced yellow-level fighting skills, Iron Mountain Fist. And a roll of advanced yellow-level fighting skills, the Letting Go Sword. Huang Jia Advanced, this is the highest level combat skill in the Doji Tang. The other Xuanjia fighting skills are basically in the hands of the clan leader and elders. Even if he is a genius, he cannot learn them, and the family will not easily pass them on. After all, the low-level martial arts of the family, Lion Mountain Crack, do not match Xiao Bai's fire attribute physique. Moreover, that fighting technique is also a matching technique with the family's Xuanjia martial arts, Guangshi, which belongs to the wind attribute of Xuanjia low-level martial arts and fighting techniques. Xiao Bai, can you finish learning so much? The family's fighting technician looked at the 5 scrolls of fighting skills in front of him with a bewildered expression. Good guy, young Master Xiao Bai, you can't chew too much. It's okay, learn slowly, you can always finish it. Xiao Bai doesn't care, anyway there is still plenty of time before he becomes a fighter. Okay. The fighting technician had to agree and then began to teach Xiao Bai hand in hand. In this way, Xiao Bai eats refined rice every morning to cultivate Duji, and in the afternoon comes to the Duji Hall to learn 5 volumes of Duji from the Duji technicians here. So, time passed in the hurried days. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Bai celebrated his 8th birthday. Of course, he's just a birthday, because birthdays are really unnecessary for him. Xiao Bai is 8 years old. In the early morning, warm sunlight filtered through the cracks in the window. The fragmented light spots illuminated the entire room, embellishing golden brilliance on the bed and floor. In the room, Xiao Bai was swallowing clouds and exhaling mist, constantly operating the qi of Do to refine the energy of heaven and earth. He sat cross-legged on the bed, his hands intersecting under his chest and abdomen, making a strange mark. His eyes were tightly closed, his breathing was steady and powerful, and his mouth and nose kept swallowing the rich white mist energy. For a long time Xiao Bai slowly finished swallowing, but still spewed white mist between his mouth and nose. He opened his eyes, looking bright and full of a sense of inexhaustible energy. Feeling the extreme fighting energy in his body, Xiao Bai stretched lazily and slowly got off the bed, doing a few simple movements to soothe his stiff body and muscles. With the help of alchemy rice, Xiao Bai has been practicing since the age of 4 and has been maintaining a progress of 3 Dan Do Qi for a year to improve. In fact, he has already broken through to 9 Dan Do Qi since the end of last year. However, it's not that easy to break through the fighters. And there is also a chance of failure. So Xiao Bai didn't rush to break through and continued to cultivate Do Qi to the current limit of 9 levels. He is only 1 foot away from the 10th stage, which is the condensation of the cyclone. At the same time, over the past year, he has also practiced almost all of the 5-volume fighting skills. It's just that he hasn't really fought yet. Xiao Bai did not crave practical combat or bloodshed. But he knows that this is a necessary condition for becoming a strong person. So he doesn't resist either. If given the opportunity, he should be willing to take action without mercy. 3 low-level yellow-level fighting skills, 3 intermediate yellow-level fighting skills, and 2 advanced yellow-level fighting skills are close to you. When you break through the fighters again, you can probably go to the outer courtyard of Canaan Academy to mix and play. Xiao Bai touched his chin. Subsequently, he began to exercise his body, allowing the muscles to digest the energy of heaven and earth. At this time, Xiao Bai's physical fitness has far surpassed that of his peers. He looks very strong and muscular all over, not to mention his martial prowess, but at least he is a brave young man. And this year, he is only 8 years old. Who saw this and couldn't help but say, is this really 8 years old? Breakthrough fighters, this year. Not long after, Xiao Bai closed down and prepared to break through the fighters before the arrival of Canaan Academy. To show their support for Xiao Bai, the Xiao family purchased 2 second-grade pills for him. They are respectively Mai Hu Dan and Yang Qi San. The former can protect the meridians from damage, while the latter can solve the problem of weak qi if the impact fighter fails. It has to be said that the Xiao family is very good at investing. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Alchemy of Pills, Breakthrough Do Ren. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 5 Alchemy of Pills, Breakthrough Do Ren. In the room, Xiao Bai looked at the 2 jade bottles in his hand. This is the support and investment from his family. 2 second-grade pills, worth tens of thousands of gold coins. You should know that the Xiao family's annual income is only over 100,000 gold coins. Isn't the experimental material here? Xiao Bai raised the corner of his mouth and then summoned the bronze cauldron directly. Then, he looked at the 2 jade bottles and decisively opened the jade bottles of Yangqi powder. If you want to experiment, let's first try Yangqi powder. Because if the pulse-protecting pill is broken, it may affect his ability to break through the dough. But Nourishing Qi powder is different. This thing belongs to the category of medicine after breakthrough failure, and it also has the nature of a healing medicine. It's okay if it's broken, he can only practice for another year. So, Xiao Bai poured out a longan-sized pill from the jade bottle and carefully placed it into the bronze cauldron. Later, he placed the bronze cauldron on the stove in the room. Now it's the beginning of the year, the weather is cold, and every household has lit their stoves. Xiao Bai's room is naturally not inferior, and the coal used is the best. Buzz. Soon, as the carbon fire burned, an inscription on the bronze cauldron gradually lit up. The silver halo also began to gather inside the bronze cauldron. The nourishing energy dissipated and suspended, slowly enveloped by a silver-white halo. At this moment, the energy of heaven and earth gathers, but it is not strong, as if moistening things silently, but the speed is not slow, like babbling water. After about 15 minutes, the movement of the bronze cauldron disappeared. The silver-white halo remained inside the cauldron. Xiao Bai looked up and saw that the Nourishing Qi powder was shrouded in the silver-white halo. Upon closer inspection, it seemed that countless tiny particles were flying around the pill. In no time, the silver halo also dissipated. Xiao Bai took the Nourishing Qi powder out of the bronze cauldron, and his eyes lit up instantly. Because at this point, the Nourishing Qi powder is completely different from what it was just now. Firstly, the Nourishing Qi powder has become somewhat transparent, but many impurities can still be seen through the interior. On top of the Nourishing Qi powder, a bright silver inscription appeared. This inscription was shining, but soon it dimmed and turned into a dark silver color. It's really done. A happy expression appeared on Xiao Bai's face. Later, he also put the My Protecting Pill into the bronze cauldron for spiritual refinement once. A quarter of an hour later, a refining pulse-protecting pill was released from the furnace, which also looked somewhat crystal clear, clearly with improved quality in reduced impurities. Xiao Bai put the 2 pills back into the jade bottle. And he sat cross-legged on the bed, adjusting his breathing in state. About half an hour later, Xiao Bai opened his eyes. He refined 10 more grains of spirit refining rice and then swallowed the pulse-protecting pill. Suddenly, a faint chill spread from his stomach and spread throughout his body along the meridians, making him feel refreshed, as if he had opened the heavenly spirit cap. That was a wonderful feeling, and he was a bit ethereal, as if about to fly, which directly shocked Xiao Bai. A once refined pulse-protecting pill, its efficacy is also too strong. Moreover, he felt that his entire meridians were protected by a force. No matter how he mobilizes his fighting spirit, it won't cause any damage, it's like adding a layer of cover. No matter how much fighting spirit is rubbed, it won't bleed. Subsequently, Xiao Bai swallowed a grain of refined rice and quickly formed a handprint on his hands to absorb the dou qi. In his breathing, he allowed the faint dou qi in his body to move and operate according to his heart. In the small room, the calm air suddenly fluctuated. Wisps of pale white energy seeped out of the air and continuously penetrated into Xiao Bai's body. For a moment it was like thunder stirring up the earth fire. The external energy of heaven and earth collided with the energy of heaven and earth in Xiao Bai's alchemy rice, directly causing his entire meridians to deform. Pain. It hurts too much. Despite the blessing of the pulse-protecting pill, the deformation and pulling of the meridian still brought a sense of nerve tearing, which was very stimulating, causing Xiao Bai's skin and flesh to twitch slightly. Fortunately, the pulse-protecting pill is really awesome. Although the channels are deformed and swollen, it still resists. Although it hurts, it doesn't cause much harm. At this moment, the doji qi inside Xiao Bai's body enveloped clusters of white energy from heaven and earth. As the qi of dou and the energy of heaven and earth circulate in circles in the meridians, pure energy of heaven and earth is constantly refined into a pale white qi of dou. With the support of these aftereffects, the scale of Xiao Bai's internal fighting energy gradually expanded, filling the meridians one by one. In no time, Xiao Bai felt that the refined rice had been completely digested. Obviously, the demand for breakthrough fighters is too great, and a grain of refined spirit rice is not enough. Fortunately, Xiao Bai refined 10 grains of refined spirit rice in advance. He reluctantly interrupted his fingerprint, reached out to grab the remaining 9 grains of refined rice, and swallowed them all in one breath. Boom! In an instant, huge waves of energy from heaven and earth began to emerge in Xiao Bai's body, beating against the meridians all over his body like waves. Xiao Bai quickly guarded his mind and continued to refine his energy by pinching his fingerprint. With continuous refinement, the meridians in Xiao Bai's body were filled one by one. At a certain moment, Xiao Bai suddenly felt that the dou qi in his body had expanded to a critical point that could no longer be increased, and his meridians were swollen, clearly filled with dou qi. At this moment, his entire meridians were like circles of inflated tires, expanding. The expansion of doji qi directly caused waves of tearing sensation in Xiao Bai's meridians. Fortunately, the effect of the pulse-protecting pill is still there. And after just experiencing the tearing and deformation of his meridians, he can also withstand this degree of pain. However, at this moment, the refined rice inside his body was still surging with energy from heaven and earth. Obviously, this time Xiao Bai ate too much. Doji cyclone, condensation. Without any hesitation, Xiao Bai chose to break through directly. I saw him take a deep breath and his fingerprint suddenly change. As Xiao Bai's fingerprints changed, the surging energy in his meridians suddenly contracted towards the sea of qi in his lower abdomen. Before long, when all the dou qi in the body had contracted into the sea of qi, the originally pale dou qi had turned into milky white. However, at this point, Xiao Bai still did not stop. Instead, he focused on applying pressure again, further compressing the energy of the big fight. The surging fighting spirit churned, as if rebelling. However, ultimately unable to withstand Xiao Bai's suppression, he was forcefully compressed to the size of his palm and solidified. Boom! In the end, Xiao Bai concentrated all his energy, his muscles tightened all over his body, and he pressed down hard, allowing the dou qi to reach its closest state, directly forming a small nebula. At this moment, a fierce aura surged out of Xiao Bai's body. His exhaustion all over his body was swept away, his tense muscles relaxed, his twisted meridians recovered, and then a pure fighting spirit emerged from the sea of qi, flowing all over his body in the blink of an eye. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. The Fighter's Power, Body Method, Fighting Skills, and Shadow Steps. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. The Fighter's Power, Body Method, fighting skills, and shadow steps, it's done, I've broken through to the realm of a star fighter. In the room, Xiao Baimeng opened his eyes and murmured excitedly. He felt the fighting spirit inside his body, and with a movement of his mind, the fighting spirit moved like arms and fingers in his body. With a wave of his hand, a refreshing breeze could be stirred up. This is not an outward display of fighting spirit, it is only the effect of fighting spirit on the body. How powerful a fighter can be described in just one sentence. Opening a monument and crushing stones is not a problem. Being able to demolish walls with bare hands, punching and kicking with great force. According to Xiao Bai's memory, cultivators have been different from ordinary people since the beginning of Doji Qi. Do Qi can break stones with bare hands, such as Xiao Ning. When using the 8th-section Do Qi, it can cause damage to the ground and can also be used to attack opponents. However, it is only limited to protecting the skin and flesh, and can still be injured by cold weapons. Even so, it can stand out among ordinary people. The fighter's internal fighting energy can form a fighting cyclone, and a full blow can cause a power similar to a grenade explosion. It is easy to demolish walls with bare hands, and it is simple to open stone tablets and stones. Under the protection of fighting energy, it can basically defend against ordinary cold weapons. Doshi can form a duki gauze garment outside their own body, which can destroy a 2-story square building with one full strike. The duki gauze garment is also capable of withstanding various cold weapons and has extremely high defense. The Doshi is able to condense his internal fighting spirit into fighting spirit armor to protect himself. He can climb up to 100 meters and rely on his fighting skills to strike with all his might, which can destroy ordinary 10-story residential buildings. His fighting spirit armor is also capable of withstanding many types of attacks. Do Ling is already able to master Do Qi condensate very well, and can freely form various shapes of ideas. With the full force of Do Qi, it can easily destroy dozens of floors of ordinary residential buildings. When Do Qi is released, it is enough to defend against tank shell attacks. Do Wang, at this stage, he can transform his energy into wings and his strength is even higher than that of Do Ling. He is like a mobile fighter jet, fighting wherever he goes. If you want to say how much destructive power there is, it is not a problem to easily destroy a town. With one strike, he can easily break through a 100-meter city wall and chisel through the mountain wall. Even if you want to, with some effort, you can smooth out a big mountain. Even if you have a hard front with a force of 100,000, you can still indiscriminately kill, and it will initially involve invincibility. Do Huang can mobilize the energy of heaven and earth, and any fighting skill can achieve huge growth. In the battle between Yun Yun and the purple golden winged lion king, the purple crystal winged lion king in the original time and space roared and collapsed 100 Zhang mountain peak, with a momentum of several kilometers. The battle between Medusa and Haipatong was even more bleak, with aftershocks lasting several kilometers, and its momentum could be imagined, possibly covering a radius of 10 kilometers. All four of them are powerful warriors who can cause great destructive power in a large area through basic tactics. With a single use of their ultimate moves, they can move and sweep across a range of tens of kilometers, flattening the surface in large areas. Just like Haiba Dong, even in a fit of anger, it can freeze the entire city, that has to be a huge area. Xiao Bai yearns to become a high-level powerhouse, and the feeling of transcending heaven and earth must be very satisfying. After breaking through the Do, Xiao Bai immediately found the clan leader Xiao Zhan. Later, he left with a surprised expression on Xiao Zhan's face and went to the Xiao family's Duki Pavilion, where he obtained the family's Huang-level advanced skill, refining fire and burning. The most advanced skill of the entire Xiao family is the Furious Lion Gang. However, the Wild Lion Angry Gang is a wind-style technique. And the most advanced fire technique of the Xiao family is naturally the Huang-level advanced refining fire burning. Xiao Bai didn't mind it either. He started practicing directly and transformed all the milky white non-attribute fighting chi in his body into a light red fire fighting chi. After all, he doesn't have any powerful martial arts skills now. There is a burning formula in the ring on Xiao Yan's body. But he didn't dare to provoke Yao Lao, it was too dangerous. But it's okay, it's not too late to switch to training when you have good skills in the future. In the room, Xiao Bai transformed his last bit of fighting energy and opened his eyes to sigh. The burning technique. He murmured in his heart, very eager. Who doesn't want to burn the formula? After all, this may be a top-notch cultivation technique in the vast world. Let's get stronger first, and then see if there are any opportunities in the future. Xiao Bai calmed down and allowed himself to calm down. Suddenly, his door was knocked on, and the butler's voice rang out, saying, "Young Master Xiao Bai, the elder has sent someone to deliver something to you." Xiao Bai was stunned for a moment, then immediately reacted. This elder is also very well informed. He only broke through to the fighter when the other party came to give gifts. However, as the saying goes, take it as it comes. Xiao Bai naturally wouldn't refuse the door, so he spoke up and said, "Take it in and thank elder for me. Just say that Xiao Beiming remembers it in his heart." With a creak, the door was pushed open, and the butler walked in holding a wooden box. After putting it down, he bowed and said, "Don't disturb the young master, I'm leaving now." After speaking, the butler turned around and left, casually closing the door. Xiao Bai nodded to himself, really sensible. Subsequently, Xiao Bai curiously opened the wooden box. I saw a scroll inside the wooden box, with 3 words prominently written on it. Il Shadow Step. This is the senior yellow level combat skill of the elder himself, and it is also a combat skill of body and step techniques. Xiao Bai reacted and quickly unfolded the scroll of the Il Shadow Step. After looking at it once, he nodded to himself, realizing that the elder really cared for him. Surprisingly, I marked my own insights and experiences in the scroll. He doesn't even need to go find a combat technician to learn, he can just practice and write down the tips clearly. Xiao Bai started self-learning the next day. Early morning. Xiao Bai woke up early and summoned the bronze cauldron, ready to refine the spirit for rice. After refining a grain of spirit refining rice, Xiao Bai prepared to retrieve the bronze cauldron from his mind. However, the next second, he suddenly paused for a moment. Xiao Bai looked at the bronze cauldron and suddenly had a bold idea in his heart. I don't know if my current fire-fighting spirit can undergo a second spiritual refinement. He thought this way, so he did it. Xiao Bai held the bronze cauldron in his palm and put the rice that had completed a spiritual refinement back in. Then, he mobilized the fire energy in his body and injected it along the bottom wall of the bronze cauldron. As a result, no matter how much fighting spirit Xiao Bai injected, the bronze cauldron remained motionless. It seems that we still need to use real fire. Xiao Bai gave up and took out the refined rice to swallow. He retrieved the bronze cauldron from his mind and began a new round of cultivation. After breaking through the dough, Xiao Bai found that he could already refine spirit refining rice 100%. No matter how much heaven and earth energy the rice for spiritual cultivation can dissipate, its doji cyclone and fire-related techniques within its body can fully absorb, refine, and absorb it. This discovery made Xiao Bai very happy. After all, waste is a shameful behavior. So, about half a year passed in a blink of an eye. When Xiao Bai's cultivation broke through to the level of a 2-star fighter, the enrollment team of Canaan Academy finally arrived. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Willing to be defeated and passing the selection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Willing to be defeated and passing the selection. Young master, it's time for you to depart. In Xiao Bai's yard, the voice of a butler rang out. Squeak. In no time, Xiao Bai pushed open the door and walked out with a wooden sword on his back, full of energy. Walking on the path of the family, Xiao Bai suddenly found that the family was very empty. Obviously, with the arrival of Canaan Academy, many people may have gone to watch. By the time Xiao Bai arrived at the selection site, the huge square was already crowded with people, and even the soldiers of the city lord's mansion were mobilized to maintain order and avoid any bad events. Subsequently, Xiao Bai honestly waited in line for half a day before entering. He arrived at a green tent where several young men wearing Canaanite school uniforms were testing their fighting spirit cultivation with a fist-sized crystal. When Xiao Bai approached the young man, he hesitated for a moment and looked at his short body, with a strange expression on his face. "Why are there children running over here?" So the young man waved his hand and said, "Hey, kid, go play and don't cause trouble. Brother is very busy." Buzz. However, the next second, Xiao Bai had already picked up a crystal from the table, and his fighting spirit injected into the crystal, directly causing it to light up. In an instant, the young man's words got stuck in his throat. He was so shocked. Is this child only 8 years old? At the age of 8, I have reached the 8th stage of Do Qi cultivation. At the same time, people around also showed surprised expressions. Even more keenly noticed Xiao Bai's clothes and exclaimed in surprise. "Wait, he's wearing the clothes of the Xiao family. He's 8 years old. Can we say he's the legendary Xiao Bai, the immortal genius of the Xiao family?" This statement shocked the whole audience. Yes, an 8-year-old genius, he must be Xiao Bai. According to the news from the Xiao family half a year ago, Xiao Bai has already cultivated to the level of a Do. 8-year-old fighter, my goodness, he is truly a peerless genius. If my son could have half of his talent, I would be willing not to give me retirement. Surrounded by people discussing, there were constant screams of surprise and waves of gasping movements. Xiao Bai, on the other hand, was not surprised by such scenes. Since he became famous, anyone who saw him couldn't help but give him a thumbs up, exclaim in surprise, and take a cold breath. Good guy, if there is a greenhouse effect in the future of Duki continent, it will be my own fault. At this moment, the young student in charge of testing also reacted and greeted Xiao Bai with a smile and a wave of his hand, saying, "Little brother, please come inside." Xiao Bai nodded and walked towards the tent. When he approached the tent, he saw a group of Canaanite college students gathered in the shadow of the tent, chatting in small groups. However, outside the tent, under the sun, a group of teenagers sat on the ground. The sun today is scorching, it can be said to be scorching. Under this kind of exposure, more than 10 teenagers were already sweating profusely. Xiao Bai raised his eyebrows, knowing that this was an old tradition of Canaan Academy. It is almost an unwritten rule that undermines the enthusiasm of new students during enrollment, and every generation of elderly people will engage in such fun-seeking activities. After all, most people who can reach the admission threshold are talented and unavoidably arrogant. Even many of them are privileged young masters and ladies in the family. However, if you enter Canaan College with such a mindset, it is easy to cause trouble and suffer losses, so it is also good to be educated in advance. However, Xiao Bai didn't want to bask in the sun and walked directly into the tent. Suddenly, this scene caught the attention of many people. That child is Xiao Bai from the Xiao family, it seems that he has a lot of confidence in himself. A peerless genius, of course, has confidence, but the old students of Canaan Academy won't get used to him. Watch it, he should fly out later. The 8-year-old fighter is indeed impressive, but the old students at Canaan Academy are not weak. Didn't you see us all sitting outside? Several young people exposed to the sun suddenly showed a look of mockery on their faces. They are waiting to see a good show at this moment. Xiao Bai arrived at the tent and immediately caught the attention of the old students. A child. How did he get in? He should be a genius. The junior apprentice outside won't make any mistakes. Who will try his condition? I'll go, this child looks like he's only 8 years old, how powerful he can be in heaven. Lu Qing, be careful of the boat capsizing, don't be beaten up by the other children on the ground. Lu Feihui, why don't you shut up quickly, young man? I'm a 2-star fighter, can he beat me up? As he spoke, a young man with green hair and triangular eyes walked out, twisted his neck and made a thumping sound. With a grim smile on his face, he said to Xiao Baiyin with compassion. Elementary school brother, according to the rules for freshmen, if you win, I will let you in. If you don't win, be obedient and bask in the sun outside. Don't worry, the senior will beat you lightly. Don't be afraid, and don't cry. Xiao Bai. Do you think you will cry when I beat you up later? Although he has recently broken through the 2-star Do, his combat power is not low, as he has mastered 3 advanced yellow-level combat skills. Moreover, he was carrying a wooden sword for spiritual refinement on his back, which was already comparable to a divine weapon. With just one strike, a stone could pierce through it. Who? Immediately, Lu Qing took a step and rushed over with a swift figure, her clothes dancing in the wind and making a sound of hula hula. Looking at Lu Qing's upper body again, her gaze was like lightning, and she clenched her fist and threw it at Xiao Bai's face. A faint blue fighting spirit emerged on Lu Qing's fist. Lu Qing did not use any fighting skills, just a probing blow. If it were really an ordinary child, killing someone else's child would be troublesome. Bang! However, the next second, Xiao Bai raised his hand to block Lu Qing's fist, and a faint red fighting spirit condensed in his palm. One green and one red collided, causing the fighting spirit to overflow, and a burst of dust was lifted from the ground. Xiao Bai and Lu Qing retreated at a single touch, both of them taking 2 or 3 steps back under the impact of their fighting spirit. 2-star fighter. The students of the Canaan Academy who watched the battle looked surprised. Compared to the faint aura of fighting, it is difficult to discern and perceive. The fighter's fighting spirit is very strong, and as long as they burst out, they can perceive their specific cultivation. At this moment, the light red fighting spirit in Xiao Bai's palm had already reached the standard of a 2-star fighter, no weaker than Lu Qing. However, Lu Qing is not a big deal, after all, she is not too young. But what's going on with this kid? If I'm not mistaken, I'm only 8 years old. But is this really 8 years old? An 8-year-old 2-star fighter, do you want to be so outrageous and evil? Is this child a monster? Lu Qing twisted her wrist and her face became slightly solemn. At the same time, he felt a pang of sourness in his heart. How many years did he cultivate before reaching the level of 2-star Do? But the other party caught up with him so young. In the future, it will definitely be an unlimited star of tomorrow. At this point, Lu Qing immediately didn't want to fight because he was afraid the other party would hold grudges. What if the other party turns around and retaliates when they grow up in the future? So, Lu Qing suddenly covered her wrist and let out a ouch sound, pretending that her wrist was injured. She then took 2 steps back and said, "Little brother, your palm power is strong. I'm willing to bow down." For a moment, there was an eerie silence in the tent. Everyone stared silently at Lu Qing. Good guy, brother, you're really cowardly. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. S.Level Potential, Arriving at Canaan College. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 S.Level Potential, Arriving at Canaan College. Xiao Bai passed the test and sat down casually in the corner of the tent. In no time, a middle-aged man with blue hair walked in. The students around immediately saluted and said, "Master Fran." Master Fran nodded, holding a list in his hand, and looked up to see Xiao Bai sitting in the corner. He said, "Are you Xiao Bai?" He recognized Xiao Bai at a glance. Because in the entire selection list, only Xiao Bai is absurdly young, only 8 years old. So Master Fran saw this very conspicuous genius at a glance. "It's me, hello mentor." Xiao Bai had already stood up and bowed at the words, saying, "How many stages of Do Qi have you cultivated?" Master Fran asked. At the same time, a rare smile appeared on his face. Because he felt like he had discovered a genius, a true genius. At the age of 8, he had already met the admission criteria for Canaan College, and even being placed in the college was considered a rare demon-level genius. However, the next second, Xiao Bai's words immediately stunned the expression on Master Fran's face. "Mentor, I have reached the level of a 2-star fighter," Xiao Bai spoke, while raising his hand to gather a faint red fighting spirit in his palm. Two-star fighters. Master Fran paused for a moment, then suddenly widened his eyes. He was exclaiming in his heart, an 8-year-old 2-star fighter, what kind of demon-level talent this is. Even the most powerful demons outside the college cannot keep up with this level. Okay, you are indeed a genius. Welcome to Canaan Academy, said Master Fran with joy. Subsequently, Master Fran took out a scroll and ink pen from the ring and said, "According to the potential value classification set by the college, the 8th-stage Do Qi belongs to the F.level potential value. The Qi of Juduan Do belongs to the E.level potential value. A star fighter belongs to the D.level potential value. The 2-star fighter belongs to the C.level potential value. Until the 5-star fighter, it belongs to the S.level potential value. Of course, the age limit here is calculated based on the age of 20 or below. Originally, based on your cultivation level, it should be cost-effective according to the C.level potential value, but now you are only 8 years old, so I give you the S.level potential value, which is my highest authority." After Master Fran finished speaking, a hint of joy appeared on Xiao Bai's face and he hurriedly said, "Thank you, Master." "Well, good, no need to be polite," said Master Fran with a smile. After speaking, he was the first to enter Xiao Bai's information directly on the scroll. Later, Master Fran called in everyone outside and began to input and divide information. After the statistics were completed, Master Fran asked everyone to go home and bid farewell to their families, and then return here to gather 3 days later, because at that time, flying monsters from Canaan Academy would arrive in Yutun City to pick them up and fly directly to the Academy. Xiao Bai naturally left and returned to the Xiao family. At the same time, the results of the enrollment test for Canaan College were also disseminated. In the entire city of Yutun, only Xiao Bai, a new student with S.level potential, directly made Xiao Bai's name once again resound throughout the entire city of Yutun. In the following days, it spread to several surrounding cities and towns, making it well known. 3 days later Xiao Bai, carrying a package and a wooden sword, arrived at the square under the escort of the Xiao family leader and elders. "Xiao Bai, be careful in everything when you are alone outside." Clan leader Xiao Zhan patted Xiao Bai's shoulder and said earnestly, "Xiao Bai, I don't have much to give you. Take this gold card and use it." As soon as the clan leader Xiao Zhan said a word, the elder immediately pushed over and stuffed a gold card into Xiao Bai's arms, indicating another wave of investment. This made the clan leader Xiao Zhan grit his teeth and curse the elder in secret. It seems that the money was given by his family, but it seems like he gave it himself. What an old fox, so thief. Thank you very much, clan leader. Thank you very much, elder. Xiao Bai has gone. Xiao Bai arched his hand and saluted. Subsequently, he walked towards the team of Master Fran and followed him to board the flying warcraft. This is a giant bird, belonging to the 3rd level of warcraft. Although its flight speed may not be as fast as that of Do Wang Chang, it is also not slow, far exceeding that of beasts running on the ground. Who? After everyone came up, Master Fran controlled the giant bird to take off and fly straight into the sky. On the ground, Clan Chief Xiao Zhan and the 3 elders looked up at the departing Depeng. In a room on the back of flying warcraft, Xiao Bai and a group of freshmen sat together. Professor Fran is also among them, constantly promoting knowledge about Canaan College to new students. For example, Canaan College is located in the Black Horn domain. That is an area of mixed fish and dragons, where people act without much restraint. Many wanted criminals from the empires on the northwest corner of the continent have fled into the Black Point domain, because it belongs to an illegal territory, and even powerful empires cannot intervene, so it is very chaotic. I tell you, it's okay in the academy and you can ensure safety, but if you want to go to the Black Horn domain for training in the future, you must be careful and learn to disguise your identity. In the Black Horn domain, there are fugitives everywhere, and the more inconspicuous people are, the more deadly they are. Elderly people, children, and women, without fuel-efficient lamps, should not meddle in their own affairs. Master Friend earnestly warned that whether new students can remember depends on their consciousness. But it's okay, the ones who go out for training are usually not newcomers who have just started school for a few years. Generally speaking, there are law enforcement teams around Canaan Academy. The law enforcement team is composed of mentors and students from the college, who lead the college to witness the dangers of human life, which is also a preparation before the training. Not long after, everyone dispersed and returned to their rooms. It would be several days before they arrived at Canaan College. For several days, Xiao Bai spent the whole day in his room practicing with his head closed. During his 3 days at home, he prepared some standard jade bottles that could seal the energy of the pill. Then he refined enough rice and put it into the jade bottle. Along the way, Xiao Bai would take 3 grains of spirit refining rice every day to cultivate duqi. However, even so, Xiao Bai still felt that the cultivation improvement in his body was very slow. The rice for spiritual cultivation is just a 1-time spiritual cultivation. Currently, it is not enough to supply Xiao Bai's cultivation speed. Even if one eats rice every day, it is estimated to take another 6 months to break through the 3-star dough. Unless he can refine the rice several times. So, time passed day by day. Finally, one morning, the group arrived at Canaan College. Master Fran woke everyone up and saw a huge city outlined through the window. That is Canaan City of Canaan Academy. Compared to Canaan City, Xiao Bai's hometown Yuten City is simply a remote small county town. Shortly thereafter, the giant bird landed in an area in the city where flying monsters were stored. Master Fran walked into the city with a group of new and old students, and it took him half an hour to walk around before arriving at the real Canaan College located in the city. Xiao Bai stood at the entrance, looking at the huge gate of Canaan College, especially the plaque on the gate and the stone tablet standing next to the gate. The plaque and stone tablet are engraved with 4 large characters. Canaan Academy. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Concurrent Cultivation of Medicine Department, Course Arrangement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Concurrent Cultivation of Medicine Department, Course Arrangement. Canaan College. Xiao Bai followed Master Fran to a square. At the same time, the veteran students who assisted in enrollment have left, and they have gone to collect the contribution points that have completed the enrollment task. In no time, only the new students were left on the square, waiting for distribution. In fact, the allocation of new students is given priority by the teachers responsible for enrollment. Without any hesitation, Master Fran directly selected Xiao Bai into his class. Joking, how could such a wicked genius be left to others? Of course, he had to cut off his beard first. Xiao Bai, come with me in the future. I am the Xuanjie mentor, responsible for teaching the Xuanjie class, and I can help you obtain considerable resources. Moreover, I am already at the peak of the Great Dou Master and have the potential to break through to Douling within 10 years. I am confident that I can teach you well. After Master Fran selected Xiao Bai, it seemed that in order to reassure him, he voluntarily revealed his cultivation level, which was the peak of the 9-star Great Dou Master and not far from the Douling realm. This kind of cultivation is even among the top among many mentors. Once Master Fran breaks through to the realm of Douling, the resources he can provide to his students will greatly increase, and he will have more opportunities to advance to the position of Elder of the Outer Academy in the future, provided that he breaks through the Dou King. The Outer Elder of Canaan Academy requires a minimum level of cultivation as a Douwang. The inner courtyard is even higher, at least one must be a strong warrior to become an elder in the inner courtyard. Subsequently, Professor Fran selected several talented new students and led them out of the square to the dormitory area of the college. The treatment at Canaan College is still very good, and each student can have their own single dormitory. After all, cultivation is something that cannot be disturbed. After arranging the dormitory, Xiao Bai approached Master Fran alone and asked, "Mentor, I have a talent for fire and also a hint of wood qi. I have a talent for alchemy and I would like to study the alchemy department of the college." Master Fran was suddenly taken aback and said, "I didn't expect that you still have the talent of an alchemist. Since that's the case, let's give it a try. The alchemy department and teaching department of the college don't conflict with each other's schedules. I can take you over now to register first." After speaking, Master Fran swiftly took Xiao Bai to the building of the medicine refining department. On the way, Master Fran also gave Xiao Bai a detailed introduction to the alchemy department. Joining the medicine refining department, there will also be dedicated mentors responsible for imparting knowledge about medicine refining. At the same time, some medicinal herbs will be provided free of charge every week for students to practice. However, cultivation talents are different from alchemist talents, and your S.level potential value is basically useless there. If you want resources, you need to achieve excellent exam results. Upon hearing this, Xiao Bai exclaimed in his heart, "Good guy, he has gone through the fate of passing exams. I just don't know how talented he is in learning." Unfortunately, his brain cannot be dismantled and thrown into a bronze cauldron for spiritual enhancement. Soon, Master Fran brought Xiao Bai to the medicine refining department. Master Fran found an alchemist who was familiar with him and directly arranged a talent test for Xiao Bai. I saw that the alchemist brought a crystal ball. Xiao Bai placed his hand on the crystal ball. Buzz! Suddenly, the crystal ball emitted a fiery red light. Immediately after, a green halo sprouted like grass. "Well, my talent is right, it's really suitable to become an alchemist. Come with me." The alchemist nodded and expressionlessly processed the procedures for Xiao Bai. Subsequently, the seemingly indifferent mentor enthusiastically instructed Xiao Bai, saying, "After tomorrow's enrollment ceremony, you can come to the medicine refining department to choose the course time. Don't conflict with the teaching department's courses. Each time's course will have different third-grade alchemists giving lectures. I suggest that you only listen to one teacher's class in the early stage. A alchemist, foundation is very important. For textbooks such as a complete collection of medicinal herbs and basic techniques, I suggest that you memorize them until you are fully familiar before learning the art of alchemy. Also, at the end of each month, the college will have senior alchemists of grade 5 or above give open classes, which is a rare opportunity. We suggest you don't miss it. Also, the initial stage of refining medicine will be regularly provided by the Dan Fong and Materials Academy, but the quantity will not be large. Either you spend money to order your own practice, or you will achieve excellent results in the monthly assessment, and the academy will increase the quantity for you. Moreover, after becoming an alchemist, for every level promoted, the college will also reward 3 elixirs. If you want to obtain more elixirs, you need to exchange them with contribution points. Contribution points can be obtained by executing the tasks published by the college. Generally, alchemists can help the college refine medicine to obtain more contribution points, which has a certain advantage over ordinary people. In short, remember that before becoming an alchemist, written tests, medicine identification, and refining assessments can provide sufficient resources. After becoming an alchemist, completing the alchemy tasks assigned by the college is the key. Xiao Bai took it seriously and quickly thanked him. Don't be cold on the other side, but it's a warm-hearted person. The mentor's advice is very useful. Because Xiao Bai was well aware that alchemists were originally a profession that burned money. Taking Xiao Yan as an example, even with alchemists at the level of senior pharmacists around him, Xiao Yan's path as an alchemist is still built on resources. And Xiao Bai naturally didn't have much money on him. He only had a gold card given by the elder, only over 10,000 gold coins. After all, the Xiao family is not wealthy either. Even if Xiao Bai tells the Xiao family that he needs money to become an alchemist, the Xiao family may not be able to afford him as a gold-swallowing beast. So, it's definitely not realistic to burn money on your own, so the performance of the assessment is very important. Wait, if I purchase ordinary pills, then refine them once and sell them at a high price. Suddenly, a bold idea emerged in Xiao Bai's mind. Intermediaries, perhaps we can do something about it. Whether it's alchemy or spiritual cultivation, money is very important. Moreover, Xiao Bai is already a fighter. Perhaps we can try collecting some animal fire for experimentation and see if we can use it to refine spirit multiple times. It's just that beast fire is not cheap, and some high-level beast fires are even more expensive than money can buy, because most of the people selling beast fire are also alchemists, and perhaps only elixirs can exchange them, but elixirs are also very expensive. When it comes to intermediaries, they do indeed engage, but now they are still too weak and lack the strength to provide protection, which is very dangerous. It's better to lay a solid foundation first. After returning to the dormitory, Xiao Bai touched his chin and murmured. He has a lot of things to do. Cultivate Duki, learn cultivation and combat skills from a mentor, endorse and prepare for monthly basic assessment. These three major events alone are enough to cover most of Xiao Bai's daily time. The next day, just after the opening ceremony, Xiao Bai went to the medicine refining department to take courses. He organized and divided his time. In the morning, I went to the teaching department to learn and practice with Professor Fran. Rest, eat at noon, and move freely. In the afternoon, I went to the pharmacy and attended a class by a third-grade alchemist named Sith. At night, I practice fighting spirit, combat skills, recitation, and practicing seal techniques, with a full schedule. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Procurement of Beast Fire and Refining Experiment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Procurement of Beast Fire and Refining Experiment. Early morning. Canaan College, outer campus dormitory. In the single dormitory, Xiao Bai sat cross-legged on the bed. In front of him, there was a bronze tripod with 3 legs and 2 ears suspended. The silver-white light flickered on the inscriptions on the bronze cauldron, and a silver halo rose within the cauldron, constantly condensing the energy of heaven and earth. Obviously, he is practicing spirituality. Shortly thereafter, the bronze cauldron returned to tranquility. Xiao Bailey was about to pick up 10 grains of refined spirit rice from the bronze cauldron. Since advancing to the dough, the effect of refining spirit rice on Xiao Bai has not been good. So, Xiao Bai decided to increase the quantity. Originally, he only ate 1 grain of spirit refining rice every time he practiced. Now, he eats 10 directly. Thumb-sized refined rice was swallowed by Xiao Bai with a bowl of plain water. He felt like he didn't even need breakfast anymore, his stomach was already full. Refined rice not only contains the energy of heaven and earth, but also has the essence of water and grain with sufficient nutrition. The essence of 10 grains of refined rice is no less nutritious than a large bowl of white rice. That's why Xiao Bai pays attention to exercising, otherwise his stomach would have grown bigger long ago. Quickly, Xiao Bai felt a surge of heaven and earth energy emerging from his stomach. He quickly pinched the seal formula and began to concentrate on cultivating his fighting spirit. The inexhaustible energy of heaven and earth flowed through Xiao Bai's body, permeating into his meridians, and some of it flowed out through his breathing, causing him to constantly swallow clouds and mist between his mouth and nose. Although it may be a bit wasteful, it doesn't matter. Xiao Bai is not afraid of wasting as much refined rice as needed. The raw materials are just some rice. Under his inner gaze, Xiao Bai seemed to see long fiery red snakes swimming within his body, constantly devouring waves of milky white energy from heaven and earth. This kind of cultivation is like playing with a greedy snake. In this way, Xiao Bai practiced for an hour before digesting and refining all 10 grains of refined rice in his body. After finishing his cultivation, Xiao Bai sensed the doji cyclone inside his body and felt that he had improved a lot. If it continues, it will take about 2 more months to break through to become a 3-star fighter. Later, Xiao Bai went to class. The life outside Canaan College is not actually heavy. The courses taught by Professor Fran are all related to cultivating fighting spirit and fighting skills. Even most of the time, they don't give lectures in the classroom, but instead come to the square to practice. After theoretical knowledge, Master Fran instructed everyone to cultivate fighting spirit. Later, a group of people followed their mentor to the square to practice martial arts, while there were also a large number of advanced yellow-level martial arts for students to choose from. The absence of xuanjie is not because Master Fran is stingy, but because the rules of the college are self-reliance. Even if there are resources, they are not given away for free, but rather require executing tasks to obtain contribution points for exchange, which greatly cultivates students' abilities. In the afternoon, Xiao Bai came to the medicine refining department to study. He received some basic textbooks, such as the Strange Fire Ranking, Medicine Cauldron Ranking, Complete Collection of Medicinal Materials, Complete Collection of Warcraft, Complete Collection of Heavenly Materials and Earthly Treasures. When Xiao Bai entered the classroom, he happened to see an alchemist refining a batch of pills. That was a middle-aged woman with yellow hair, with a golden alchemy furnace in front of her, and a pale yellow flame swimming around her. It was a type of beast fire, at least a 5th-level advanced beast fire. She is the Sith Master, a 3rd-grade alchemist in the pharmacy department of Canaan College. Condense. Shortly thereafter, Master Sith let out a low shout and lifted his hand to open the lid of the alchemy furnace. Suddenly, a cluster of yellow-orange light flew out. Wow, the 3rd-grade pill, Fengxing pill, has been released, truly worthy of being the Sith Master. It was successful in one go. I don't know when I can also be promoted to a 3rd-grade alchemist. Master Sith, what will we talk about today? At this point, there were already many people in the classroom, all apprentices of alchemists. Xiao Bai also walked in and found a quiet seat to sit down. Towards evening, Xiao Bai left Canaan College and walked to the neighborhood of Canaan City. Here, even though the sun is about to set, it is still very lively, with various noisy sounds echoing and can be heard across several streets. Xiao Bai wandered for a while and soon found his goal. He arrived at a booth. The owner of this stall is a person wearing a black robe, unable to see his face, hands, and feet clearly. However, there are many good things placed at the other party's booth. Magic core, herbs, minerals, metals, Warcraft blood, Warcraft materials, and so on. Xiao Bai's gaze immediately locked on a canned material, which was a beastly fire. The beast fire was sealed inside a transparent crystal jar, and the pink flames were quietly burning. 5th-level beast fire, peach blossom fire. Xiao Bai's eyes lit up and he pointed to Tamuhuo, asking, "How do we sell this?" The black-robed man didn't look up, but a hoarse voice came from under his hood, saying, "A 3rd-grade prescription, a 4th-grade pill, a 4th-grade magic core, or 400,000 gold coins will not be negotiated at this stall." Xiao Bai. He didn't have anything, the other person said. So, Xiao Bai shifted his gaze from his heart and pointed to another can of blue beast fire, asking, "How do we sell this 3rd-order beast fire?" "There's no way, the 5th level is too expensive to afford, so I have to settle for the second best option." The black-robed man fell silent for a moment, seemingly realizing Xiao Bai's poverty. His tone became somewhat impatient, but he still responded, 3rd-level mandala fire, a 2nd-level pill, or a 3rd-level magic core, or 4,000 gold coins. 3rd-level beast fire is much cheaper. Without any hesitation, Xiao Bai directly paid for the purchase of the 3rd-level beast fire. This is a beast fire from the body of the 3rd-order wooden monster mandala python. Subsequently, Xiao Bai spent another 1,000 gold coins to purchase 3 different types of second-level beast fires and a pile of first-level beast fires from the black-robed man. After Xiao Bai left holding a pile of jars, the black-robed man raised his head slightly and revealed a pair of eyes, filled with a look of doubt. "This kid is a medicine-refining novice, right?" the black-robed man murmured to himself. "Third-level beast fire is just fine, second-level beast fire is also fine. You can buy more and try which beast fire is more suitable for your medicine-refining skills. But what's the use of buying so many levels of beast fire? What is the difference between first-order beast fire and ordinary fire? This kid doesn't think that having more beast fire can fuse high-level flames, does he? Innocent." Returning to the dormitory, Xiao Bai neatly stacked the bottles and jars on the table. He is preparing to conduct an experiment. Can beast fire refine spirits? Who? The next second, Xiao Bai summoned the bronze cauldron. At the same time, he took out another bag of rice. Grab 10 grains of rice casually and throw them into the bronze cauldron. Then, Xiao Bai opened a jar and condensed his fighting spirit in his palm. With a move, the red first-order beast fire in the jar flew out and quietly fell into Xiao Bai's hands, burning quietly. End of this chapter.